All righty. Good evening, Jamie. How we doing?
How's it? Good. How are you doing, Clayton?
Oh, doing great. Been a fun day of cabin. Actually, it's nice. It's like 70 degrees out, so not a big deal. And in celebration, I am wearing my "We the People Keeping the Herd Healthy" because I tell you what, good job to all them guys, Dusty and the whole crew out there.
Mm-hmm.
They got it over the finish line.
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure Kelly's going to sign it. I know he was on board with it. And telling the Game and Fish to go frickin' pound sand. You know what? I was figuring out how to work this in because here's what we think of Game and Fish. There you go. For those of you on the podcast, zero given. So, we really don't care what they feel like.
That's good stuff right there.
I come right out of the gate, didn't I?
I was just waiting for you to go ahead and throw the F-bomb in there. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I've been trying to cut back.
That was good. Good.
Why don't you start us off with the Second Amendment tonight?
You bet. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Absolutely. And we got a little of that going on, don't we?
We do. Hey, in fact, Saturday's coming up. Shot heard around the world, baby.
It is. Hey, DJ's on. Good evening.
Yeah, you want to get to some of those comments?
Go for it. I'm going to do some messaging here.
All right. Who we got here?
Elon Musk deal.
Doug Thompson. Good evening, buddy. Josh Patterson. What's the wording on the bill 1588 or something like that? Cleo will be getting to that.
We will.
Binary triggers. I'm not sure.
Not in there anymore, but
okay.
We'll talk about that bill here a little bit later.
Yep. Okay. One Shot Cap. Good evening, Patriots. Good evening, One Shot. Dan Brown. Good evening, MVEs from the Western Edge. What's up, Dan? Absolutely. Good evening, Brian Warner. You are a fellow MVE from the get-go, buddy. Love it. And if you're listening, you don't know what an MVE is, Joe Biden and Biden's FBI said people who support the Second Amendment have Gadsden flags or support fly flags and are patriotic. You're a militia, violent extremist is what you are.
MVE. Proud to be one.
Happy Easter, Paul Odegaard. You bet. Happy Easter.
Oh, yeah.
Josh, right on. Figured you'd touch on it. You bet we will, Josh. 100% we're going to hit on that. So.
Oh, yeah. And we'll get to some of that. I know we're going to keep it. At first, we're going to talk about a few other things. We do politics all the time. And you and I both even get tired of that.
Yeah, we do. I tell you what, Clay, I don't think I have a one damn thing here tonight on politics. I'm going to start off when I got Geronimo's rifle, and I'm going to have fun with this one. Why you don't shoot big bucks.
Yeah,
I read some people are going to be listening. Oh, whatever. You're a dick. Well, go ahead. Whatever. Maybe. I'm going to tell you why you don't shoot big bucks. There is great points in there, Clayton. I agree with you. So that's going to be fun. And, the gun sales for March. We'll see if they went up or down, or if we finally dip below that million mark, or people are still great Americans and pumping money into their Second Amendment freedoms.
Yeah.
Evening, Gene Cox.
Good evening, Gene. Glad to have you with us. Hopefully you guys, it looked like they had a little rain over there here this past week. Let us know, because I know we didn't get much here.
No, I think we got about half an inch up in Golden Valley. I mean, I'm going by what I've seen people commenting that are from Zap and around that area, so I'm hoping. I'll talk to my dad Friday. I'm going up Saturday. Diggity and I are going up. Like I said, we're probably going to do the shot herd around the world there, and then we'll do a few other things. So we're going to test out that. We're going to test out that mule deer target I got with the 270 and the 6.5 man bun. That'll be me shooting that. My dad will have the 30-06, and then we might get the neighbor over there with the 7mm PRC and maybe some other ones. So it'll be fun.
And I got to throw this out there to a few guys that I know tune in here. Last year we did this because we couldn't use Axe's range, but we decided we're going to do it again this year over basically Memorial Day weekend. So we're looking at the 24th probably, which is a Saturday, going out to Whalen's range down here by Bullhead and doing a little kind of a mini 2A day. Hopefully you can make it. If you can't, Jamie, that's just
when's that going to be? You don't have an exact.
May 24th is what we're looking at.
Probably me and Alex will probably have to road trip down there for that.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. We do have the mile target, 1,760 yards out there. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to trying
Spear
that.
for that, that's pretty close.
What's that?
Can I bring my spear for that one? That's pretty close.
Definitely sending freedom seeds a long way.
Yeah,
right?
man, that'll be.
But so I know, I bet Gene knows where that's at. If he doesn't, we can get him in there. But again, we're looking at the 24th of May. That's a Saturday. I believe that's a Memorial Day weekend. And yeah, I think we're going to try to do it that day. Chris Brownell is coming out from, he's a good friend of ours, and he comes out from Minnesota.
Yep.
And him and I, we've been discussing for about a year. I think we got something figured out possibly on the horizon with him and Guns in the 701, but we want to do it right. And, we're looking at sponsorships, but I think we're going to have something a little better, and it'll be a continuing thing. Basically making purchases from American Steel Company or Supply and making that happen. And basically he comes out here once or twice a year. So you get your orders in, get them here, don't have to pay the shipping, and everything's good. So
I want a beaver target, man.
I think we can make that happen.
Yeah. You notice something new in my background this one, Clay?
I see there's a little freedom delivery system. It's actually it's a muffled one.
It is. Yeah, that's just for poachers and assassins.
Yeah. Pew pew pew. Soft.
Oh man, we got a good crew. We got a good crew coming in already here, don't we tonight?
We do, yeah.
Appreciate everybody, man. It's awesome.
Beautiful day. I wasn't sure, and I think we've stayed at 7:00 pretty much all year, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to change that. We changed that. Remember last year going into summer.
Yep,
worked out well. Everyone seemed to like it, so I don't know if we'll go back to 6, but hey,
we're too ham. My Paula says we're too hams.
2 hams.
Clay's a shrinking ham.
I'm a shrinking ham. Yeah, there's less of me, and that's okay.
Yeah, you're looking good, buddy. Keep it up.
I'm telling you, it's been I fell off the wagon a little yesterday. I actually had a bowl of ice cream. So,
well, you know what, man? If you don't do that now and then, you can't maintain your peace if you don't do that.
Kind of the way I looked at it. Yeah, but I kind of worked hard today. So anyway,
what do you want to hit first here, buddy?
Your choice. You lead us.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's go. And I gotta kind of read this. It's not that long, actually. There's a lot of interesting stuff in here. Like I said, we're gonna go. It's from Firearms of the Frontier Partisans. It's called Geronimo's rifle. I'm pretty sure everybody's pretty familiar with Geronimo, right? I thought he was a chief. He wasn't, I guess.
No, he was not a chief. But
since we haven't had a kind of a badass in a while.
I was gonna say this kind of made up for that.
This is kind of right. And we'll go through it. And I mean, like per usual, we'll stop now and then here if we got to hit on some shit and have a little fun with it. So what's up, Dead Wolf Resistance?
Nice to have you. Where are you at? Where are you? No, that's not you. That's 18 wheels in there. 18 guns in a dozen rows. That's right.
Lynette says she's here. Dougie's still in class, getting smart on fixing computer-operated vehicles. Yeah. Get those knuckles off the ground, man. Them carburetors and shit, they're just not around much anymore.
I am just so sick of computer vehicles. We'll put it
all right, so I'm gonna start out here. Beginning of this article, there was a picture with Geronimo. He's in the field with his trap door. It's an 1879 Springfield rifle with modifications. And he did have, which I thought was interesting. The other warriors that are with him are armed with late model Winchesters and Springfield carbines, right? Lever actions, right? Which
we just did some of them, didn't we?
Right, we did that, and of course we were talking about having that as a state rifle, but some people said you couldn't have those because why, Clay? Because country killed natives with that, but apparently they like to use them against us too. So what's the problem?
Let's just face it. The Indians loved the 1866 Winchester. Remember the big yellow boy?
Yeah.
They decorated him up because it was golden like Custer's hair. They loved killing the American soldiers.
Well, they got his hair, man. It's somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure they got it somewhere.
But Clay Geronimo, he stuck with the full-size single shot. Expert marksman Geronimo wielded the robust, accurate weapon with devastating effect in a firefight in a Sonoran Canyon, June 17, 1886. So your Geronimo is he's an enigmatic and ambiguous character. Though he's celebrated today as a patriot, the last Apache holdout, and they've gotten parentheses, not quite. So I guess there was somebody else who was other than him. The militant.
He gets the credit.
Right. He's the most famous. It is the militant Chiriku, if I don't say this right, Chiricahua Apache shaman and war band leader, never a chief, they said, was widely reviled in his own day by his own people. He was violent, ferocious. They say dishonest and a dangerous drunk, which a lot of people are dangerous drunks, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I'd never heard that part about Geronimo.
No, what? Right, and the guy who wrote this, I'll say his name here later. He's Apache war scholar Edwin Sweeney. He's the guy where they get this from. But it says, but whatever else he may have or may not have been, Geronimo was a badass fighter, tough and resilient, and he was a hell of a rifleman, which we're about to find out.
Yes.
So in the last desperate days of the final breakout in 1886, Geronimo and his tiny band of warriors, accompanied by women and children, were under pursuit from all directions. Of course, the U.S. troops coming in from the north, and these Sonoran paramilitary bands pursued them into the Sierra Madre hideout. So the Mexicans, right? A lot of people don't know that, but the Mexicans and the Geronimo and they were having like brutal racial wars, man. They hated each other just because they had darker skin. Didn't matter, man. It was like Germany and Russia. They thought of each other as lowlifes, and then they killed each other accordingly. So
yes, they did.
So on June 17, 1886, a Hackandado named Patricio Venezuela led a party of paramilitaries in pursuit of the raiding Geronimo. Well, you say that because Geronimo would raid their camps and take supplies and horses and whatever else, right? And then people, I mean, they took other people and made slaves out of them, and then that's just the way it was. It just wasn't evil white guys. He surprised Geronimo in camp. One of Geronimo's wives emptied a revolver at the attackers, and they cut her down in a hail of bullets.
Yeah, so it sounds like she was just as much of a badass as he was.
Right? Yeah, just dumped the whole revolver, man. This is mag dump. Did a mag dump on him, right? The attackers rescued a captive Mexican woman that the Apache Geronimo's crew had there. Geronimo escaped on foot, and from here, like I said, ace Apache war scholar Edwin Sweeney. He's gonna take up the rest of the yarn here. Like I said, it might sound long. It's not. It's about as long as that first part I read here. So Venezuela faced a difficult choice. Here's where you're going to find out what a sniper Geronimo was. Geronimo had taken cover in the rocks of a box canyon. So a box canyon, right, Clay? It's one way in and one way out. You can't get out the other end.
And he was a badass shot, the way it sounds to me.
Yeah, and they said perhaps he might have been slightly wounded. He had crawled into a cave with his 1873, which they say as the beginning. Actually, it was probably an 1879 modified Springfield rifle, single shot. Valenzuela admitted that he could not see him even with a spyglass. He deployed his soldiers along the two ridges encircling the canyon. He had cautioned his men not to expose themselves to plain sight. But, Francisco got a little giddy, didn't he, Clay, here?
He did.
He got a little giddy and careless, and Geronimo is known for...
He almost got a lot like Custer. He got a little bit ahead of himself, a little bit arrogant, and thought a little more of himself than he really was.
Yep. Hey, there's one of him. I know he's a good shot, but there's a lot of us. Let's just get this over with and get him, right? That's probably what they thought.
Well, they got it over, just not the way he thought.
Right. He had, like I said, he had cautioned his men not to expose themselves. But Geronimo, known for his marksmanship, brought one of the guys down here with one shot, rolled him down the cliff. The lone marksman killed two more men and wounded a third as the Mexicans attempted to breach his concealed position. At dusk, Valenzuela called off the flanking movement. The three slain men had bullet holes. Not only did he just hit them, Clay, he sniped these guys right in the freaking melon, man. He hit them right in the head.
Yeah, it wasn't just, I winged him. No, he freaking headshot done.
And he didn't have a scope, man. This is iron sights, so.
Yeah, it was great.
And so the shooting is also testimony, they say, to the quality of the 1873 Springfield. It looks like a musket, right? A trapdoor. Is a trapdoor one they pop down on the back and put the cartridge in, Clay? Is that how that works?
Yeah, it's literally a trapdoor. I mean, it's I think there's a picture of it actually on here if we can show people. Yeah, right here. So it basically flips up. It's called a trapdoor. It's pretty much There you go.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and that's why it gets the trap door because it's like
so it was actually because it was a 4570 is what it's chambered in.
Hey, that's what I shot a little of that the other.
Yeah. So it says known as the trapdoor for its hinge loading port at the breech, Geronimo preferred the full length to the handier but less powerful and accurate carbine. Right, shorter barrel, you get less velocity, which they say here. The 1873 rifle, single shot, 51.875 inches, 32.625 inch barrel. That's a freaking battleship, man.
That's a beast, isn't it?
Yeah, long by today's standards for sure.
Yeah.
But an average length for the rifles of the day, about the same as a Hawken, right? We all know what the Hawken is, like the white guy frontiersman rifle. Long barrel offer two advantages: full use to ballistic capabilities, which is why I like longer barrels. Yes, 16-inch barrel is about as short as I like to go. And some people think that's stupid. They like, I'm not against shorter than that, but for me, I like to hammer the longer barrel, burn all that, most of that powder, all of it, and of course the long sighting plane. Like I said, iron sights. Clay, we all had that at the Iron Sight Steel Challenge, right? You can, the longer your barrel, the easier you can see them sights if your close-up vision's going south. But I mean, when I was younger and you were younger, Clay, it didn't matter how short it was. You could see them things as clear as hell and under picture downrange. It was great, man. I never thought I'd miss it as much as I did. Which they say, of course, right here is valuable in using iron sights. The hinge loading port gave the trapdoor its nickname. A rifleman could get off about 10 shots a minute with this powerful single shot. The cartridge was 4570, a 405 grain bullet pushed by 70 grains of black powder at about a freaking pedestrian, which I'm adding in here, 1,350 feet per second. I could damn near outrun that thing.
I was going to say 1,300 some feet. Can you imagine that in today's world? We'd be brutal.
That is so slow. It's almost a joke to me, but hey, it worked, man. He's hitting him in the head with it. So
back in the day, man.
The ballistics. This is their words. The ballistics are crap, which I agree with. Throwing a heavy flat nose bullet in a rainbow trajectory. Yeah, that's a rainbow, not your rainbow in your hair when you're out there bitching that you ain't got any rights, rainbow. But in 1886, it was a good long-range cartridge with tremendous knockdown power. I think Gussie McCrae got that guy there in Lonesome Dove.
It kind of reminded you that. Well, that's why people love that. So if you guys aren't familiar with lever actions in the old guns, the old cartridges, you had that peep sight, but you had that one you flipped up over and then you adjust it. Well, that's what that was for. So you could. I mean, I would say, just to throw this in here, I would say those guys were way better marksmen than we are today.
Agreed.
Just because of what they were using. Yes, there's a lot of us can shoot. Some better than others, some worse than others. But let's face it, that particular era with that kind of a firearm and technology for today, you were a true marksman because you had to know where that thing was hitting. You just had to at all different levels.
And just like World War II and most of the guys in Vietnam, their lives depended on their shot, man.
Well, think about it.
You and me, we're out having some fun with it and hunting and whatever, but when your life depends on it.
Yeah, and it truly did. And let's face it, that's how NRA got its start. The marksmanship was so poor on the Union side that they said, all right, we have got to do something because the Southern boys were just whooping ass when it come to long range and accuracy.
Because they're feeding themselves with them guns down there.
What's that?
The Southern guys are feeding themselves with their guns.
They were out there, shooting and hunting, and that's how they fed their families. So they were very familiar. And
I mean, the Union was shocked really by the accuracy of the marksmanship of the South when the war started. So
yes, they were.
I mean, of course, the Union had their guys from Maine and stuff like that, and their sniper units. Those guys run real too. But yeah. It took a while.
Yes, it did.
So to finish it off here, Clay, back in 1886, Geronimo had access again to the handier Springfield carbine and Winchester rifles with a high rate of fire. Yet he chose to stick with the long single-shot rifle. And given his performance in the Box Canyon and Sonora, he knew what he was doing when he picked it.
Yeah. Yes, he did. And I just thought that was a neat little. I didn't know some of that. I thought he was always a chief. I guess
Me too.
I didn't pay attention to it too much. But you think about what he did when so many of the tribes did the coveted lever action. Load it once, shoot it all week. And I mean, they love those Winchester lever actions. But yet here you got a guy that's probably one of the biggest renegades out there, right?
Yeah,
he went up and in all honesty, you know, if I lived back then, I don't know if I could have been on the side of the troops. People coming into an area, I think I'd have been fighting with the people that were.
Well, yeah, he was fighting them on both sides. He was fighting the white man and the Mexicans. They pinched him in there, and they fought like hell until.
And someone in his own tribe didn't even care for him because they thought he was kind of a degenerate by today's standards.
I mean, schools don't teach it, but believe me, even after the white man is here, Indian tribes were still freaking at war with deadly war when they'd see another. I mean, it was on.
And it was ruthless. And it was ruthless.
Right.
Gene Cox says Ferdinando's men didn't outrun it. That's right. They didn't outrun that slowly, did they?
When we jump out of an airplane, we holler Geronimo. If Geronimo would jump from a plane, what would he say?
Me? That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good story, man. I've been saving that one for a while and just thought, I thought
that was a good one too. It's something a little different. And like I said, when we opened that, you're used to us doing politics. And don't get me wrong, I love my politics.
We ain't going away from that. I can promise you that.
But tonight was we're gonna touch on a couple bills just because, but we're gonna save that towards the second part.
I'll tell you what, Clay, 8:22. Why don't we do a first break and come back and you hit on something, and then after that I'll hit on this other one I got, and then we can get into maybe you want to come back with one of these bills. Whatever you want to do.
Sounds good.
Decide over the break here.
All right, here we go. Let's go pay some bills and thank some of our great sponsors.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting.
All right, I hit the wrong one, but hey, that's okay. Mandan Sporting Goods, they got a little free plug there tonight, so.
Mandan Sporting Goods.
Yeah. Well, they're a sponsor, but they're not usually part of that.
Oh, you were doing.
Yeah. I just hit
one
above the other, and it happens. By the way, speaking of Mandan Sporting Goods, I believe it's coming up next month, but I don't remember which Thursday it is. But he'll be doing again in May. or I believe is I think, right? I gotta look that up again.
Oh boy, we had the.
But while you're doing that, I got to put this up here. So when we were talking about that last week, there's my son with Governor Kelly Armstrong of North Dakota. They made a trip up there for their government class. And Landon got to meet him. He got to sit on the floor with the legislature. And it was kind of funny because we told him, you better take some nice clothes with you. They won't let you on the floor wearing jeans. And they didn't. So only him and one other kid got to sit down there with any of the legislators. So
Clay, we actually missed it because it was the second Monday of every month starting April 14th. So the next one's May 12th.
That's what I said. The next one's coming up in May.
Okay, my bad. May 12th, June 9, July 14th, August 11th.
Things go right. We'll see if it's tested. The clutch, he was working on that, I think, today. Anyway, I'm telling you, if we get it all put back together, I'm going to drive that 62 up there. We'll have some fun, buddy.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I got to make sure that it does not break down on me a 100-mile trip.
It doesn't. You stay at my house.
There you go.
So the next one is May 12th. It's called Cruise Night, powered by Mandan Sporting Goods.
May 12th.
Starting point for the event with Mandan Sporting Goods parking lot. Obviously, their new location. They're just 2 blocks northeast of Runnings and Mandan at 5:30, with a route to be predetermined before each event, meeting back at the Mandan Sporting Goods parking lot at 7 for food and beverages. And after each event, there will be a 50-50, I can't say the word, for a gun in which 50% of the profits will go to charity.
So what's he calling that again? It's on May 12th.
But Mandan Cruise Night, powered by Mandan Sporting Goods.
Awesome. And we're going to talk to Brandon about that and see if maybe we'll try to be part of that. I really think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And what time was it starting at?
5:30.
5:30 Central Time.
Yep.
So there you go.
And I think when they do their route, I thought Brandon told me they were going to stop at a few, bars, and then kind of support Mandan's local, they're on the local businesses, and then head back and do the thing in the lot when he's going to fire up his grill. So
awesome. I just think it's great. And you know what, to me, that's if we can make it happen, Jamie, regardless whether I get the pickup done or not, we can still go.
Oh, we can go over there no matter what.
We should set up and do a little bit of a live broadcast.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. And if we do a live there, the chances are high there might be a gun. So we're probably only going to be able to do it on X and Rumble.
We'll just figure on that. It'd be probably X and Rumble on the website and call it that.
So Lynette says maybe the sluts should have yelled Geronimo when they went up in Bezos' rocket.
I've seen that too. I love it.
Yeah. Gene says Geronimo's final resting place is Fort Still, Oklahoma. After he surrendered and was in prison, he never got back home. Yeah. Yep. That was it, man. Didn't they say they were going to take him to Florida or something, and then
I think they lied to him and said they're going to do that, and then he surrendered. But but that didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Guess what? I bet he gave up his guns before he got on that train.
I bet he did too. Imagine that. They always ask you to give them up, right?
Don't give that up. At least you get one down in a fight, man. Anyway, all right, Clayton, what do you got for us, buddy?
Well, I'm going to talk first about Senate Bill 2155, and I know Daryl was discussing that the other day on KFYR, and when I'd looked, it had said that it had failed. Remember, it had changed, so it had to go back to the Senate, and supposedly it failed, and it did not fail. If you look at the new thing, it said second reading passed, 30 nays to 16, 30 yeas to 16 nays. If you don't know what this bill is, this is the one that is basically a big old FU to landowners. They're going to take antelope tags, and it's going to be 50% of the total, and that was kind of one of the changes. They wanted to be of the bucks, which would even made that number lower. But so say there's 10 tags in our unit 6A, I believe here. 50% of them are going to go to landowners. That's it. So if they have more than 5 people applying, then it becomes a lottery. You may not get one. So if there's 6 applicants that want their gratis tags that Game and Fish in the state of North Dakota have promised landowners forever, nope, they're not going to do that. Then they're going to make a lottery and draw, and someone's not going to get one. Well,
I know Geronimo felt.
Yeah, they only know how Geronimo felt, and that's the problem.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
All I can encourage you to do is call Kelly, call Governor Armstrong's office, and after the next break, I'll try to get that information up here and encourage him to veto that, because I don't really have veto-proof stuff that I can see. Veto that bill. I am sick and tired of the landowners taking the brunt, and there's no fair way. They claim, oh, it's the fair way to do it. It's not the fair way to do it. I don't know. I hate the break. I keep telling people this. Over 90% of all land in the state of North Dakota is, what is it, Jamie?
Privately owned.
Privately owned. So without us, the landowners, you know what? Here's another great place for what I loaded tonight. Without us, we have zero given if you can't hunt. It's that
zero
simple.
F's given. Right.
And that, I'm so sick and tired of this crap. You know what? We feed them. We take care of them. Them animals, they might be the public's animals, but you sure as hell don't take care of them and feed them.
And Clay, where does it say your right to hunt in North Dakota fairly with landowners is guaranteed? It's not in it. The word fair isn't even in the federal constitution.
Fair and equal doesn't even, no, it's just not there as far as, especially with the hunting here in the state of North Dakota. So, you know, I would encourage you, call Kelly's office, call Governor Armstrong's office, and let him know you'd like to see him veto that bill, and it should be vetoed, and send a big, loud message to Axman, Cleary, your boy, Dwyer, Marcellus, Rummel, Barta, Clemens, Hogan, Mathern, Sickler, Bocce, or I'll call him, well, I got a different name, Conley,
Bocce, you got botulism or what?
Yes, Sorvig, Braunberger, Corey, Larson, Paulson, Van Oosting. What the hell's wrong with her? I'm going to call her.
I don't know, Bill. Bill, talk to your wife. What's going on there?
Burkhardt, Davis, and Lee, Powers, Weber, Castaneda, I don't know, Dever, that idiot, he's a sellout, Lem, Roars, and Weston. Now, thank you, though, to like Senator Magrum and to Senator Scheibel. He's in my district. Thank you for that.
Is it an election year? You've been agreeing with him a lot. He must be voting the right way.
Well, he's been doing better on some things. I'll give him this. Him and I, we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. When it comes to property rights, we're pretty much in line. And you know me, this ain't personal for me, never has been. A lot of these guys take it that way.
It's personal business.
Yeah. Just but I give credit when credit's due, and he's been great on private property rights, and most of the time on the Second Amendment he is too. Bain was also with us on this. So we had 16 nays, and then Beckendahl was excused or absent. So I don't know what happened.
Had the virus.
Had the Rona. But it's a horrible bill, and I can tell you right now, you come to if this does not get vetoed, you come to this area and ask me to antelope hunt. Not happening, man. Not happening. My place.
Not too big old long ones.
That's right. And probably most of the area around me, like we did last time.
Good. I hope that does. I hope most landowners do that.
It's last time this happened was with the posting bill, and we locked down just in this little area 20,000 acres easy. We'll
got
do
a few of those nice signs up there on the Breck property up in
get you some more too.
Yeah. So Josh is in that commie call backcountry and that pile of sticks, Brock wall.
Absolutely.
I use the definition of the word Josh used, the pile of sticks.
The pile of sticks, yeah. I see that.
Brian Wanders is 36 is a disappointment in both property rights bills.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, we do have a celebration. Like I said, we got the supplemental fee bill. That was a private property rights bill and a hunting bill.
I'm going to my Nissan's going to be going up to the Golden Valley, and the hitch, when I hit a bump, the sparks are going to fly off, and it's going to be so full of corn.
Hey, Alex is chiming in. Alex, thanks. I couldn't agree more. This is just another move to Z.
By the way, next Wednesday, Alex Balaz is going to be our guest here on Guns in the 701. Alex is out, and I know he was elk hunting. I think he went moose hunting.
All right.
Alex is an all-around badass, man. The guy put foot to ass for America. He was over in Middle East, Afghanistan, and he got an SR-25 back. He said he's been shooting it. If you know what an SR-25 is, sweet ass rifle. Alex is going to give us a lowdown on that. And Clay, he said he's talking about a primary challenge. I don't know if it's state, federal. What he said, we're going to let Alex go ahead and bring that up when he comes on the show next.
Sounds great to me. And yeah, he says, I agree with him here. He says, to sell licenses out of state. And it's just like the bill that was in there this year with Game and Fish that would have allowed us to go back to having a small game license that to hunt pheasants, grouse, whatever, during the season, not just for that 14-day period where you choose, 7 days and 7 days. It's all about the money. It has nothing to do with management. It's about the money.
Like most
Plus,
shit.
they got it through so that they're going to raise license fees. And some of them are double, even tripled. Boat licenses, you got to go take a look at that. If you own a boat,
yeah,
you might be a little shocked when you go to relicense it when it's up again. I could not believe that. And when you ask these numbskulls exactly why, well, it's to keep up with the surrounding states. What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. Hey, we got to keep up with Minnesota. Let's do some gun bans.
Yeah. So, like I said, there's been some victories. We'll talk about 1588 here in a little bit. But I wanted to address this one because this one really gets under my craw, especially as a landowner. And I can tell you right now, I'm Scott's with us
your
on
craw's
this.
a lot smaller than it was.
Yeah, it is. Call them turkeys in, which, by the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about some turkey stuff.
Yeah.
But I just, Scott talked about this on Dakota Prairie Outdoors. We had him on last week. We talked about it again with this gratis tag thing. I am in opposition to this bill. And I will not. I absolutely, I'm going to hunt. If I'm lucky enough to get a gratis tag, I'll definitely hunt. My kids will hunt. You can hunt. If you are a great friend of ours, or you're a family member,
I am putting in for that unit. I got 1 point, but I have been lucky at winning guns, so maybe I'll draw a tag down.
And I'll just flat out say it here: if I don't know you, don't stop. If this bill goes into law, don't ever stop here and ask me to hunt antelope again.
Get a sign put up there, Clay.
I should have a sign that says,
if you don't know me, don't ask to hunt antelope.
Yep, you're no longer allowed to hunt
0 F's given.
Yeah, 0 F's given. So, anyway, kind of get off my soapbox there, but I wanted to talk about that.
I'd have to get Signs and Wonders to make you one there.
I bet he can take care of that.
No, he's not a sponsor, but he has done our decals and Rick's an awesome friend of the show. So
he made us some really good deals. So
yeah. All right. So all right, Clay.
Speaking of that, one more thing.
Yes, sir.
So I placed some orders. We're getting some more of those olive green water things. We're getting a few more of these, which are really cool. I really like.
Yeah.
Those. By the way, that's a cool one.
I need one of those to give to my mom for Mother's Day for sure.
Okay, well, we've got a case of them coming, and I had a little problem with my original, so I have a new one. Mine fell out of my pickup box, the 62, because I forgot it was in there when I took it for a drive, and of course the wood is gone. So my old one is gone. It's smashed.
The older you get, the wood does disappear. So
God, I hope not. Anyway, but we got a new edition. I went ahead and got some tumblers, but I didn't want to.
I like that. That's the perfect size right there.
We're going to have some of them now. They gave me a smoking deal on them, and we're going to have a case of those as well. So, yeah.
Oh, my God. I love that one.
To me, I was sitting there, Jamie. I could have got them in white, but white just gets dirty really, really,
well,
really
they're
bad.
Black, man. You got them color appropriate for this time.
That's right. This is yeah. So, I love this idea. They look.
Leon would agree.
So, yeah, Leon, get one for there. So Dan, he says license fees hadn't done it in 12 years. So what? That Dan, I love you to death. I do, but one don't have anything to do, and you don't raise a fee because
the thing is they don't need it. That's the deal.
The Game and Fish runs in the black. Go grab their budget. Not only that, they're getting an increase in their budget. If you go check that out. From the Game and Fish website, you can see where their budget that increase. These guys are not hurting for money, and that doesn't even include the federal money they're raking in from bills like the Open Fields Doctrine and several other ones. But the idea that government can raise stuff up just because it hadn't been done, good, must mean you're doing it right because you're not in the red and you don't need to do it. You don't do it just because. That pisses me off so much.
I hear you.
Not justification, and I'm telling you right now. I always said it could be done. We're seeing it done with Elon Musk. He's finding billions and trillions of dollars of waste. A lot of just because crap.
By the way,
he's damned.
Clay, if somebody can find me one person who isn't getting their fucking Social Security check or their Medicare is getting fucking, you're a legal citizen of the United States, I'll buy you a freaking beer. That's bullshit. That's Democrats. The modern day Democrat's a piece of shit. What about your relatives, JD? That includes my relatives. If they're not smart enough to see this through this shit, then you're a piece of shit too. So go on, Clayton.
I love it. I'm with you. I'm so sick of this. It's enough. We're $37+ trillion in debt, this country. Quit wasting my money. Quit taking and robbing my money for me just so you can redistribute it somewhere. And we don't have it. Speaking
of that, using our money, taxpayer money, to fly down to El Salvador to try and get a guy who the immigration court and a district court said the guy was part of MS-13, and they're still trying. Van Hollen and all these other dipshit Democrats going in there trying to prove this guy's like some great citizen. He's an MS-13 gang member. These fuckers cut people
illegal,
up alive.
By the way, illegal alien.
They just kidnapped a gal in Colorado, in New Mexico, I think, or California. Took her out with a drilled holes in her hand until she got the fucking account number and they took all her money and shot her, bent her over, left her for dead. Let's keep these guys here because they might vote Democrat. Democrats are pieces of shit. You won't convince me otherwise until they start changing their ways, which they're not going to do. They're doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on their horse shit.
Well, it's like we've said here before. If you are an illegal alien, you are afforded, you know what? Zero rights you have no rights under the United States Constitution. You don't have the right to a fair jury, a fair and equal trial.
500,000 need to see a judge first.
Yeah. And I love
But of course they didn't need to see a judge, and Biden let them all in though, right?
No, that was just fine. What I loved the most about it was I was watching when they had the press conference there with the El Salvador president, and Marco Rubio got up and he goes, wait a second. He goes, let's just talk about this for a minute. He goes, that's an illegal alien to begin with over there. He goes, yes, we can try to get it back, but he goes, I don't think they're going to release him, and we're not going to go try to get him back. That'd be like kidnapping because he is, get this, he's an actual citizen of El Salvador. Did you know that?
No, he's not. Where's the proof? Just because Trump said so? That's bullshit.
And I love what the El Salvador president says. He says, no. He says, why would we release a terrorist anywhere? Your country, our country. We're not releasing him. So and then the other guy, he gets up there, I forget his name, Miller. But he said, and by the way, he goes, if he does make it back, he's an illegal and we're going to deport him again.
I actually call him Mr. Burns. He looks like Mr. Burns, but the guy's ultra smart and knows shit. I mean, he's kind of monotone, but the guy knows everything about everything he's on.
I can tell you this. I am so happy the adults are back in charge again. This is what
the Americans are back in charge.
Cliff. America, the Americans, exactly. The America first, the American people, citizens, and not delusional mental illness people, DEI standards for everything. This is great. I voted for this. This is exactly what I want. It's exactly how I think. And you know what? I support the tariffs 100% as an egg producer because in the long run, it will be a good thing.
Clay, the ships in China are parked. They're docked, man.
Yes, they are. You know, container shipments are 90% down. 90%. That's a good thing. Bring our manufacturing back.
And don't forget, remember we're going to get back into gun shit pretty short. But remember when Trump did it, the soybeans were the big thing there towards the end of his presidency.
Yes.
And when Trump got out, Biden never took the tariffs off of them soybeans, and China ended up buying them anyways, and soybeans went way the hell up. You know why? Because China's freaking on freaking Biden's D. That's why, and Biden never changed it. Just like the tax cuts, the Democrats don't want to renew Biden left the tax cuts because he knows they're good, and now they're going to be against them because they don't want you keeping your tip money. They want you keep getting taxed on your Social Security. Oh, but we're not getting Social Security checks. What do you worry about taxes on them for? I'm going to quit on that.
Hey, we could do a whole show just on this.
Yes, we could. We should just. It's 8:45. Should we do our ad and come back, Clay?
Yep,
what do we want to do? Do we want to do why you, and some of you might know what I'm talking to, don't shoot big bucks?
Yeah, because I've got a lot of stuff here between you and me, and if we don't get to it all, guess what? I got Friday morning with Mitchell in the morning, so we got.
Love it. I don't work, man. I'm gonna be enjoying my coffee. Listen to you.
All right, here we go. Let's take a long break. We'll be right back. We're probably gonna go an hour and a half tonight. So here we go.
Good chance.
located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventure starts here.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like that ending when we come back, man. We're just firing off the hip and going. Yeah. I was kind of revved up all day today.
Oh man! Should we go ahead some of these comments, Clay?
Yeah, I was just thinking that same thing. Yeah, he goes. Josh Patterson says, "I love my water bottle and my GAT 701 Lauer Auto Cup 2, best ones I got." We appreciate
that.
that.
He won, by the way, with his marksmanship abilities.
He did, and he couldn't even see that day. God, I got outshot.
That's what he claims. I think he was freaking. He was playing possum with us, I think.
Yeah, Eric, we know. Our guy that's been doing that for us, Mikey. He's had taken a hiatus here, and you're right. We need to get that updated. I will work on that as soon. It's probably not going to be this week. This week's crazy for me in the middle of calving, but I'm trying to get that lined up. See if I can't get Mike to do that. But you're absolutely right. And luckily, Brandon's okay. We do plug it and say, hey, don't go there. Go to the new place. It's just a block away from Runnings. Unfortunately, Runnings is getting a lot of free press because of that.
I was just in there the other day. Picked up a couple boxes of Hornady American Mule Deer. Oh, it's whitetail, isn't it, JD? Now when I hunt with it.
So Lynette, she put up here, she says, I'm actually not sure what they're doing in the legislation. Today, they shot down a bill that was presented to get China out of the legacy money, and they shot it down. When you talk about investments, I do my best with mine not to support Chinese companies. It's pretty tough because it would shock you how many Chinese investors own parts of our companies in this country. It's sickening, really. And I'm not going to go down that tonight because some of them are big, some of them are huge companies, and I had no clue till I really started looking at the money. It's sad, really. All right, Josh Patterson says, where does the money go from license fees? Oh, CWD commercials. I don't. It goes to a lot of various.
That's probably places. From the national bill. That remember they had all that money in there for CWD.
Tons in the Great American Outdoors Act. Tons of money, and that was just one.
The Un-American Outdoors Act.
And unfortunately, Trump signed that. That's Trump's not perfect either. He must have got some bad intel, and he signed that. So
man, I mean, nobody's perfect, right?
That's right. That's right. Lynette says it sounded like bucks. Okay. Josh, he had to. My vision actually cleared up that morning. Had to quit the energy drinks and the extra sugar. Changed my diet now, and I'm down 10 pounds. Good job since then. Blood sugars was through the roof. I'm telling you, diet makes a lot of difference. Everyone asks what I did. I go, you know what I did, Jamie? Started eating right. Just smaller portions, eating right. Cut out refined sugars. No pop. No. I'm telling you, I mean, I still eat meat. Don't get me wrong. That's just stupid not to eat meat. But rather than eating the steak this big, I eat the little one that's about 6-8 ounces.
So I got a text here. Dan says, you have been ignoring Dead Wolf Resistance comments, but it is somewhat disconcerting that you don't address the fact that he is celebrating the killing of law enforcement officers. I guess I did miss that, Dan, which I wasn't ignoring. I'm not sure which one he's talking about. I am definitely not in favor of celebrating killing our law enforcement officers.
Neither am I. And I guess I wasn't paying attention either.
Go back here, Clayton. Which one do you think that?
Cremation ovens, no more depending. Cream of them all.
Claude Dallas. I saw that, but I didn't know who Claude Dallas is. Remember Claude Dallas? Reload and repeat. Do what Claude did.
I don't know. I don't know who Claude.
That's got to be it. I don't know Claude Dallas, but.
And we do not advocate for killing police officers. That's for sure.
No.
100% not. Even when you go back to the deal in Minnesota, I don't think those guys killed that man. I really don't. I think they were, basically trying to.
Claude Dallas killed game wardens.
Oh.
All right, news to me.
I'll have to look that up and see what the circumstances were. Because I can tell you right now, Dan, I see a game warden on this land trying to infringe things that are wrong. Not going to be a good day. Not going to be a good day. I am done being trampled on. I can tell you that. But I'm just saying.
Travis Lindbergh. Claude shot 2 game and fish officers and they tried to vote home for poaching.
Travis, hey, buddy, that's Chavez. The guy I always calls Chavez.
Okay, what did Jake here? I've got to get his too. I got to see. We are going to, where's he at here? Jake Archambault here, Bloodline Kinetics. We're going to see who is actually making American and not just rebranding the same product. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Jake, hey, it's going to be rough for a little bit. And Trump said that. He said, I can do it quick and it's not going to be as good, or we're going to take it.
It's like I said, it's going to be a short-term pain for a long-term gain. It's just the way it's going to be. It worked once before. I mean, this ain't the first time we've had tariffs in this country, but I'm not going to go down that route. China and
Josh,
Smithfield,
that guy died from excessive amounts of meth. Claude did.
Okay. I will be honest. I have no clue what they're talking about, but I will go check it out because I am curious now.
Yeah,
tried the site. So Travis said they tried.
Oh, he tried to cite him for poaching.
They tried to cite him for poaching. Yeah, we'll have to check it out. I really don't know what that's about. So.
I mean, and I've said it before. If there wasn't game wardens, I personally know guys who would kill every fucking deer, and there would. Yep. I'm not against freaking game wardens, man. I certainly ain't for shooting the fuckers. I don't like. I'm not a fan at all of the game warden in our unit. The guy,
nor here.
He's proven himself to be an arrogant ass. Until he proves otherwise, I'll have a low opinion of him. I definitely don't, I don't want any violence put on the guy for sure, but and advocate for it, and don't advocate for that. But
it's a fine line. I mean, if they come in there guns ablazing, literally, if they're pulling guns on you, I want to know why. Okay. Now, I don't know anything about this Claude Dallas thing. I will go check it out because I'm interested. I can tell you right now, I don't lean one way or the other. But I do know that on both sides, people do. Some people hate cops so bad, kill them all. That's what they think. That's wrong. Some people love cops so much that they can do no wrong. I'm not that guy. I will look at each case. I am not a thin blue line guy. Proud to say it. Now, I do not support every single police officer, game warden, or law enforcement officer, but I also love a lot of them. Okay? They're not all good, and I've met a lot of bad ones that can freaking pound sand every day as far as I'm concerned.
I can tell you
I've met a lot of great ones that I'd sit down and hunt with. So it goes both ways.
Most sheriffs, city police officers, game wardens, most of them guys I've met, I mean, honestly, I got along with them good. We had the shitheads marching on Main Street here in Bismarck, March for Your Lives, and BLM and whatever Antifa freaks were here. Hey, the police officers came in. There was about 4 or 5 of them came into the lot where we were in my buddy's business because we were making sure the windows weren't getting broken or his business vandalized.
Right.
Every one of them guys came up and talked to me about what. Matter of fact, you see the can on that gun right there. I had that on my gun, and they're like, "What kind of can you got?" And they were interested about my M&P 9. They said the trigger looked different. They were actually gun guys. I said, "Yeah, I put an aftermarket trigger in." Cool guys. Straight up told me these guys come in here and throw rocks at you. I mean, you deadly force them. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I planned on it, but if somebody chucks a rock at my head and they're like, you're 100% you're right. So, and I've met a few of them that were dinks, but most of these guys were good dudes. So,
and of course, I'm a very strict constitutionalist. And it really does get under my skin when I see sheriffs that bow down to federal authority rather than doing their job and taking care of the people in their county. And we see that far too often. And not all of them are that way. Don't get me wrong. Not all of them are that way. That's very true. But we do have a lot of them who are. And you start getting out of the Dakotas or out even the Midwest here, things start going south in a big hurry when it comes to that kind of stuff. So,
all right, I'm going to read 2 more comments, Clay. Yep. Now we're going to get into why you suck at killing big dick.
Yeah, let's get back to having fun.
Doug says the country needs a factory reset back to our founding beliefs that started America. Yeah, I mean, they pertain to today. I mean, easily. I can easily make the case that they pertain to almost everything, pretty much everything today. Dead Wolf 13 says, well, I suppose you could also talk about the Bundy standoff. That's a good study as well.
Yes,
and Lavoy Finicum. Gene Cox, probably early 80s. He shot them and then shot them when they were down. Dallas even one of his bodies. It was a bad deal.
Okay.
Dan Brown says DWR Bunt had nothing to do with Dallas.
Bundy, I think he means Bundy. It had nothing to do.
Bundy.
With
okay. Yep. All right, I got you.
It's I'm like one small comment on all that.
Go for it.
The Bundy standoff. Different. I think that's a completely different thing. We're talking about feds coming in.
I think that was a completely different thing.
Now you go out to Oregon and where they assassinated, as far as
Obama, in my opinion, Obama told them to take him out.
Well, I'll put it this way: the Bundy thing down in their home state, that was a different deal than what happened up in Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay. Completely 2 different things, and I know Marty had called me, and I happened to be in Wyoming when that was happening, and I could not make it, or I'd have went with him. But what they did to Finnegan, that was an assassination.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It played out live, and it was plain and simple.
I think Obama told him, get him, take him down. I've had enough of this shit, is what he said. Yeah, by shit, I mean going against what he did and against Finnegan's private property rights. And
if they tried that shit out here, good luck. Because I don't think it'd go like it did.
I mean, he probably thought the same thing. They're not. They got him in a bad spot. All right, hold on.
But there's a different mindset depending on the area it happened. If it's eastern North Dakota versus western, you're going to see completely two different outcomes.
Yeah, I agree. It's because
I guarantee you, I'm going to lead the charge if I see it happening. So,
all right. So, got an article here, Field and Stream.
Yes.
It was entitled "Why You Don't."
Or let's get back to pissing off some other people, maybe.
Why? Yeah, we're gonna piss off. Yeah, we're gonna piss off some meatheads here. Why you don't kill big deer, or like I said, why you suck at killing big deer. Jake says, "Hey, it's nice out. More videos of Milch." Jake, coming Saturday, brother.
Coming soon to the YouTube channel near you.
Yeah. Saturday's looking outstanding too. They actually reduced the wind 2 to 8 miles an hour and sunny. There's going to be more than one video of milk jugs exploding. So,
David's on. All right,
coming in on X, baby. I love it. All right, so if you yet to tag your first Clay truly big buck, or if you lucked into one and you can't repeat the feat, which I did on my whitetail buck, I admit I lucked. I have had a couple other chances, but my stalking lack thereof abilities didn't work for me. It goes for big muleys too. I mean, my biggest mule deer is a 175 as well, so it's still. Trust me, I see a 175. It's going down. The idea of tagging trophy deer year after year can seem impossible, and the hunters can do it. Can leave you scratching your head. How do they repeatedly pull off what most of us struggle mightily to achieve one time? Granted, these big buck gurus have access to ground where tagging a giant is relatively easy, which I've had an argument with one of my friends about. Is a far better deer hunter than me. But if you're not regularly hanging your tag on the sort of buck who you want to see on your wall, odds are you're falling prey to one of these 5 blunders, Clayton. We're going to break these babies down.
And some of them aren't wrong. They really are.
Right. One of them I kind of had to read twice here, which I think is number 4. But when we get to that, sometimes I got to read shit twice. That's just the way it is. I'm knuckle dragging right wing uneducated gun nut. So. Yeah. By the way, 72 today, first day of the year.
God, it was beautiful.
Sleeveless hoodie, love it. I even wore the salmon colored.
I see that.
The beta male one here really
gets
some people tweaking. What's that pink ass freaking?
You should wear that this Saturday. You can have your beta male, salmon colored.
It's salmon. By the way, I like salmon. I love
eating 6'5" man bun gun.
You can't get them. I just have my hair cut. You ain't getting a man bun.
There.
Yeah. You might get one in the front there. Anyway, number 1, why you're not killing big deer. You're hunting in the wrong places, right? Seems pretty obvious. And of course, he prefaces the article here, deciding what means big buck standards is a relative thing.
And it is.
All right, so I'll make it real quick. Don't shoot a forker. If you got a 2x2, you can tell what a dink buck looks like, okay? Unless you're a kid or some old guy who's got cancer and this is your last hunt, I don't approve of somebody shooting a dink. Even a young buck makes me cringe, like a nice young 4x4 or 5. I'm like, oh, God, really? Anyway, so like you said before, unless you hold the key to a huge managed acreage where you can grow one, and my dad's neighbor has argued with me, says we have enough acreage. No, I don't. I mean, we can get big ones. Don't get me wrong. Nope. The only way to have any kind of chance at a deer like this is to hunt where they live. Well, that's obvious, JD. Yeah, that's true. But if where you hunt is never, consistently produced Boone and Crockett bucks or produces like one every 10 freaking years, right? Then you're fooling yourself. You think one's going to show up. You might get lucky as hell and one gets run in from 30 miles off. I mean, if you want to wait for that, good freaking luck, right?
I mean, that big mule deer I got on my wall, I didn't earn him. That's true. He wasn't on this place. He got run onto my place, and I got him. I have no clue where he come from to this day.
But my big whitetail's like that, Clay. As a guy in Dodge, Kelly Almendinger said, he said, yeah, I got that thing in my game camera north of Dodge, which is 7 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, for a deer, happen, 7 miles is like a jog.
Now the whitetail?
Yeah.
That's different. I earned that one.
yeah, you're whitetail. So what that means, Clay, is you're going to have to travel, right? If you're really hungry to get that big monster. Yep. And if you want to get your hands on a Boone and Crockett or Pope and Young, I mean, that's true right there, man. That's why I said, if there's a 170 on our property, I will shoot it without hesitation, because yes, is there bigger ones? Yes. The biggest one that I know of that was shot on our land that was never recovered by us was a 190 plus, but the biggest one I know of that we scored was my buddy Diggity's, which is a 180, I think 181 and something. So, but other than that, of a 170 rolls in, I mean, that's, man, even when I see 165, it's hard for me to go and pass on it, but I do. All right. So number 2, you don't have enough time. Well, yeah, there's another one. That's real obvious, right, Clayton? Big deer, and this is why I don't shoot usually, right? Like Pope and Young, Boone and Crockett. I usually don't. I take a lot of freaking time off from work. Like Scott's always telling me to come to Baker. I don't go there because my time off, man. I'm hunting. I want to get a big buck. I want my friends to get a big buck. I want my uncles. I want my cousins. And this year. Diggity and my nephew, they're gonna have their once in a lifetime guaranteed buck tags. I'm gonna call, if it's a dink, I'm calling them off. I'm not letting them shoot a dink. You're gonna have to shoot a decent freaking buck, man. It's not, take the time. So I take the time so I can help everybody do their thing and mine at the same time. Deer hunting season is my freaking Super Bowl.
Yes, I know it is too.
yeah. So like he says here, big deer demand a lot of things from hunters, and probably chief among them is time. There aren't many mature deer on most properties, right? So I always say this to people: if they're not, the best way to get them is to be there when they freaking cross this shit or they show up, right? And that means taking time off from work or
right.
You can go walk all the shit you want. You're going to scare the big bucks off. That's not going to work. You might get lucky, like you said, and get one walking, Clay, right? But around in open country, western North Dakota, no way. So he says, big deer don't move as much as their younger herd mates, preferring to spend more time on their bellies, which is laying around, right, as old lazy creatures.
And mature they do.
Deer, yeah. Mature deer, they'll lay around and they'll get up at night and go out and do it, because they
most of them are nocturnal, as Waylon would call them.
I mean, look at most old people. They sit around. They don't want to get up and do a bunch of shit. They're chilling. They're relaxing. Mature deer are frequently solitary critters that can ignore the habits and behavior of youngsters. You typically have to wait for perfect conditions before setting up on a mature buck. If all you got is a weekend here and there, it's not going to happen. You want to say?
Hey, I got to add this. Gene says, I'm not sure, but if you go to Baker, the Almighty will send you a monster.
Yeah. That's a long way from my place.
Dump 5 gallons of corn, all the big bucks just run to it.
Oh shit! Booners just come running, man. Just shake it like you do to get a horse.
I mean, according to that dickhead Porter in the legislature, that's cheating. And you're just gonna get big bucks all day.
Oh yeah. So if you want to do it, like I said, he said it, you can get lucky, right, Clay? But chances are you're gonna need to take your time off.
Yes, you are.
And I take a minimum of 5 days off. 5 days. That's not including the weekends. 5 days off.
Yeah.
And it's usually the second
work
week.
Days for you guys with jobs and stuff.
Yeah. No shit, right? So this one,
Hey, I'm going to add one right into this.
Go ahead, Clayton, by all means.
I think what you need to do is you got to put the time in. Absolutely got to put the time in. Like that one that whitetail, I knew him, I saw him, I did everything I needed to. But get to know the landowner, because the landowners are out there every single day, and that's part of putting the time in. Talk to them, and if you get to be friends with them, they're probably going to give you some pretty good intel onto the habits of these big deer.
Right. And he mentions that, I'm not sure which one, but scouting, taking time off to scout.
Yes.
I scout deer all the time when I'm up, and I love scouting deer. Some people think it's boring. I love looking at deer, man. It's
pastime, man.
It's fun. You see a big velvet come in that you saw you can tell when they're small and they're just like a big tree stumps, man. You're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this thing, because they grow fast, man. If you never watched velvet, but they do freaking grow fast. So anyway, you get buck fever. I did have this once, and it did cost me. Granted, it was like a 425 yards, and I was on a side hill, but I'm still baffled to this day. And I missed badly. I will tell you that I missed way freaking high. How that happened, no clue. It was opening day. I could walk right to the spot where I was and where this big son of a bitch was. It says you want to turn a normally calm paper puncher or deadly 3D shooter into a blubbering mess that couldn't hit a chest freezer at 10 steps. Yeah. I have friends like that. I seen it happen. I mean, that shit's real. I got buck fever once. I haven't had it. I don't know why I got it. I just did. I got shaky. And it wasn't the biggest deer I've ever seen by any means, but I did. And I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Buck fever is depends on where you are in your life and your hunting career, right? I mean, it might be that first time you see a buck and you're able to, take it. It might, and that isn't necessarily a kid. It could be someone who has never hunted and you took them out there and they're 30 years old. I've done that, and I've watched guys miss decent 4 points, 5 points, and just that's what got them. It really was, and I was guilty of it. I did that one time too, and then I did that on I got buck fever. I was so excited, I missed him at 20 yards, and I never.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen guys get doe fever. A good example of this, Clay. My buddy, hey Rob, I know you're going to listen to this. Don't get mad at me. I know you could tie me in a knot if you wanted to.
Dead Wolf, he's on Twitter now. All right, good. He's over on X.
Nice, perfect. Rob could shoot bug hole groups on the range. He could hit milk jugs at 800 yards. You got him on a deer. I mean, he'd miss or he'd get a bad shot. But the last couple, he doesn't deer hunt anymore. But the last couple of years, because the guy says in here, the only way to get good at killing deer is to kill more. right? And like Rob shooting. He did end up killing them. And the last couple of years he shot, man, it was like long. I got a video one. I never did put it together. I should. It was an awesome. I say it was awesome because it was fun. I was there. He got a 310 yards or something, and a couple other the year before, 2 years before that, he nailed them heart shots, just dead on. He was calm and he was steady, and he put the shot where it was. And the 4 or 5 previous years before the deer hunt, he was all over the place and excited and shaky. I could just tell it was a different deal, but yeah, I don't know. He lost his taste for deer hunting. He's out. But I said, man, you finally got good at killing these bastards, and now you're quitting. So, yeah, buck fever. Yeah.
It's real. It is.
It is a thing, man. For sure it's a thing. I mean, I've never seen my dad have buck fever. That's we did have a huge whitetail. I never heard they got it. Right. He did have it, and he had it in the crosshairs, allegedly in the crosshairs out of our new hunting shack, but he never shot it. And I said, why didn't you shoot it? He said, I don't know. And I think he had buck, because this son of a, I mean, we've seen this thing a couple times, but from 1,300 yards away, this thing was a freaking monster. It was probably the biggest. Oh, wow. It was the biggest whitetail buck I've ever seen on the place. But yeah. So number 4, Clay, you treat mature bucks like any other deer, right? So what does that mean, right? Mature bucks don't just live the same lives as younger ones, right? Like we were talking about a little bit. It's kind of a little bit of a thing. They move less. And under certain circumstances, they take time to take cover and other deer run. They don't travel the same paths, right?
Right.
You don't think deer go here, but that might be where the big one goes because nobody's over there at all times, right?
A lot of times they do. I mean, I've watched deer come up, especially if you're hunting in some pretty, say, breaky area. I'm telling you, you might know where the herd is, but that big buck, you might look way off across that little canyon, like down at Tomax where I was at, and watch that son of a bitch climbing up on. He was actually had his head down. It was almost on his knees. He'd been there, done that before. I hunted that deer forever. Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, what he says here, like you're just saying, mature bucks can be loners, choosing to live in odd spots, ignored by other deer, and revealed to us only by careful scouting or sneaking up. And to up the ante, mature bucks, like you said, and I've definitely seen this happen, even with muley bucks, zero tolerance for intrusion. Not all mature muley bucks do it, but definitely I've seen them where and they see you and they don't. I never see them again because they're like, oh, screw this, man.
Exactly.
I'm going somewhere else, or I got a different hiding spot, or I'm only coming out at night. But yeah, I never did see him again. So, and he's screwing up and bumping a mature buck is a recipe for disaster. Right, long-term right. Like I just said, you bump them and they'll never come back. Some will, most of them probably not. Right, and this has happened too. If you see one and you're like, man, I don't know how I'm going to sneak up on them or stalk them. I'm going to try it. You just wing it. You scare them out, and you never see the son of a bitch again because you thought you were going to do it. Not happening.
Not happening.
And number 5, Clayton. This one annoys me more than anything out of any album. Right. You need to fill your tag. And the top one he's got right here, if you want giant deer, you have to be willing to eat. I'm saying even regular freaking deer. You have to be willing to eat tag soup. In other words, gotta have meat for the pot. We're not in the dirty 30s. Pig meat, beef, both taste better than deer. You don't need your fucking deer to make sausage. If it's a dink, let them frickin' walk. You don't need the goddamn meat. If you need the meat that bad, get a fucking doe tag.
Go ahead. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, and this is often, he says, this is often accompanied by a mindset that requires a hunter to tag a buck, any buck, right? I got a buck tag. I got to tag a frickin' buck. And there's been a couple of times I almost didn't, but I did. I'm not, I mean, I don't want to not tag a buck, but I'll freaking do it. If there's a bunch of dinks or young bucks with great potential, I'm not going to shoot one of them. That's, he says here, that's the absolute kiss of death if you ever want to tag a mature buck. And he said, so how do you know, right, if it's one you want to shoot? And then I'll go through a couple he's got here. What do you do too? He says, if the challenge is up, when a buck is not a dink, but you look at him and you're like,
that's why I left. So I went out shed hunting, right?
Yeah.
And this is what's been running on my play. I suppose
most people will blast that muley buck, Clay. I guarantee you.
And I mean, he's got a lot of potential, right? He's a 4x4. He's got actually, it's coming, right? And I knew he's here. You know how many people tried to kill this deer all year last year? And I was like, no, you can't shoot that one. No, you can't shoot that one. But you're right. A lot of people would have killed this deer.
Oh, 100%. If I was on unposted land or public, that thing's dead.
I mean, and he stayed on my place most of the year, and I knew he was there. I mean, this is going to be, I can't wait to see him till next year.
They were nice sheds, actually.
They were really nice sheds. And now I know, I had an idea. I knew where he was hanging as what would be a home base. Now I've got the confirmation. So,
I mean, it's going to he's probably going to be between 170 and 180 this year.
Well, I'm hoping that, he'd look at these. I want to see mass start growing in here. He's got a good start.
Yep.
I want to see these grow. I mean, this deer's got a lot of potential. He's young. I know he's young because I saw him several times around. I got some pictures of him. He doesn't really have nothing here. And some of them big mule deers will get just a little bitty eyebrow type thing there. But yeah.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing him here. And Eric says you can shoot bigger bucks if you drink whiskey and not corn. So
I've shot them drinking both.
That's why I left. It's like, oh, I got to go get them and show them because I knew.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's a great example right there. I like that. That was a great idea.
And I found some forks. I found that 2x. Well, there's a 3x3 and a 2x2 and a 2x3 that they're big. And I found some of their sheds. And unfortunately, them deer need to be eliminated because they're never going to be any more than what they are. But,
yeah. Oh, I mean, if I see I'm not going to do it opening weekend, but if it's last weekend and there's a big, heavy 2x2 or 3x2, I love to shoot something like that. I'm on board with Scott with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So Clay, what's the best way when you see one, and I agree with this 100%, the best way to combat shooting the dink here is to wait for that holy shit buck. Like you see it and you're like, holy shit, you know right away, right? Because if you have to talk yourself into shoot one, like, man, if he turns this way, he's big, but not from this way, you're going to be disappointed when you walk up on it.
Yeah, well, the ground shrinkage, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. You're going to be I'll give credit to my buddy Travis George. I mean, I've almost tried to talk him into a couple of them, and he's like, nope. And then the deer's gone. I'm like, yeah, dude, you were right. You know, I get excited. So when it's not my tag, it's easy for me to tell somebody to shoot one. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, and I can tell you, even something like this. I mean, I don't think that's huge. Okay.
No, it's not huge. It's not huge.
But you get a guy that comes from an area where he don't see anything. Big bucks is relative. To what I think is a big buck. Isn't
right. Or what units you're from, right? Some units are hunted to piss out of them, and then that is a big buck because everything with antlers gets freaking laid out right away.
Right, and then you've got the guys that everything that's said. Time. What's your time frame? Do you just want to fill your tag? No, I don't want to fill. Me, I don't. I won't. If I don't see, if I'm going to fill my tag, luckily I get a gratis and a deer tag, which we'll talk about that some other show. This is what I think's happening with the antelope one, but. I'll take a doe if I just want some meat. And I still think that's the way we need to start managing that in North Dakota, which they don't.
To this day, I can't get my mind. If you like deer meat so much, I just, you shot a bunch of bucks already. I just don't get how if you don't shoot a big, heavy, mature buck, how you can even get excited about seeing a buck that's not big, heavy, mature.
Right.
I understand if you like deer meat, but yeah, I don't know. I
Corey,
can't get my
good
mind
to have
around
you.
that.
He was doing CPR class. Hey, I just got recertified here this winter, so yeah, good job.
Yeah. So, anyways, Clayton, we got over that.
The fill your tag, the fill it. I guess everybody's situation's different. I know, like Ryan or not Ryan. Well, Ryan do, but Eric and his brother, they eat a lot of wild game, and that's fine. That's great. Yeah. And he needs a lot of meat, and he's got a lot of mouths to feed. But
think back. I mean, when I first shot a deer, like I said, that's why I say that if you're a first-time hunter, first year, second year buck tag, or you're an old, I remember how even when I shot a freaking dink, man, I thought it was freaking great, right?
A lot of people did,
yeah, and I like that, and I like the idea of meat. But I mean, if you're in between that, I don't know how you can still do that and be like, yeah, this is great, man. Look at this little. I mean, they're like pinky, beautiful 4x4 whitetail muley, whatever you want, but they're the size of your freaking pinky, man. I
think it's been. I got to look, but I think I got 3 years of tags sitting there that I have not filled my tag because I'm looking. And this year I found, you talk about them bucks that got bumped. Well, that one definitely got bumped onto my place, and then I bumped him. I hunted him for the rest of the season. Well, guess what? I didn't fill my tag.
Make him feel at home.
18
18 wheels. He says, I'm a big fan of antler restrictions. I grew up in upstate New York, and when they went to the 3-point on one side rules, you could see a difference in the first 2 years. 100% you can. I agree with that. You might get some,
I'm trying to
go
think.
Ahead,
I think Standing Rock went to a 4-point now, and anything 4-point and less. I got to look, but
they did start getting a bunch of 3x3s then, right? And they were big, but then they just do a year shooting 3x3s then.
So, and you got to be careful with that. Like I was just talking about. I mean, I've got 2x2s that are bigger than this here, and they need to be eliminated.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. If Right.
So that's where the point restriction thing. Maybe if you do it on the public land, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry shoots the first thing.
But if you cut it loose like every 4 years and said, okay, now you can
get out there and take out those bad genes. But then you got 4 years of bad genes.
You can't. That's a big pain in the ass, JD. No, it's not. It's not.
And like I said, this is a nice 4x4, and he'll grow up. But I honestly, I had a 2x3 and a 3x3 both. That they have eluded me, right?
Yep.
They're smart. They're big. Those are big, mature bucks with just a 3-point. And they're cool. Honestly, I'd like to. I'm telling you, they're smart, and then they're hard to get, and they've been hunted because everybody wants to take them out of the herd. I think everyone wants to take them harder than the big one. The something really like a 4x4 mule deer, but it's showing up now in these younger bucks. So next year when I go out looking, because Game and Fish does their own counts, but I do real ones on this place and take inventory. I may turn it loose I might get out there and say, hey, all right, everybody, the people that know me especially, apply for 3F2 and come and take these deer out, because we need to get rid of some of these. Otherwise, we're going to continue the bad genes.
If you got an antelope tag, keep driving.
Keep driving.
Yeah.
Keep driving.
Clay, you want to do one more ad here and then come back?
Yep,
and
let's
what
do
you
one
got
more
for
ad,
us?
and then I think we'll just tell you what, I'm going to save the rest of. I'll tell you, I might hit on 1588 briefly.
Do that.
It's pretty easy, and then we'll go to Happy Chronicle and.
I saw like Cam Edwards or somebody change their shit. Now they're talking Happy Ending Chronicles.
Oh, really, dude?
Hey, Cam, if you're listening, appreciate
I know Cam. And, I got to know him while I was at the NRA. So, God damn it, Cam. I had to give him some shit about that.
Love it.
So, all right. Here we go. We'll do our last advertisement and come back, and we'll wrap this baby up.
Yes, sir.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right, we're back for our last
I can
segment.
do this. It's a live stream.
Colorado water going into the cup. Colorado Kool-Aid, right?
Just water. Just water. Ask
Just
18 Wheels
water.
and Eric. That's all it is, man.
And Horton Laser Craft, man, they're going to be making us some more in. And then, of course, Bloodline Kinetics and LAUER Auto Repair are two big sponsors. Thanks for everything. And then, of course, man.
Hey, 18 Wheels. Sorry, Clayton. Go ahead and finish.
Oh.
He says, snag that like button, everyone. He's right. Hey, even if you don't listen to the whole show, and you like us, just hit
Share
it because it helps us break
subscribe.
the freaking algorithms, and it does attract more.
Absolutely.
I mean, Facebook's got us on. I sent them another email this week message.
Yeah,
they're not promoting us, so we got to do it everywhere else. Appreciate that, 18 Wheels.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it. And of course, Little Angry Man Arms. If you're South Dakota, that's a great place to go. If you're in North Dakota, head on up to Bloodline and the Mandan Sporting Goods. And of course, I can't say enough about Horton Lasercraft. They've done some great stuff. Like I said, I seen nobody was doing stuff like this, and they were. That's what I know. I look for the different stuff. I want something different. Everybody can get a mug.
I mean, they got good taste in sponsoring us too. So.
I mean, come on, these were pretty cool, weren't they?
Yeah. Remember, I told you got to put your hand behind it to make it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
We can make it come in and focus. There you go.
And there you go.
There you go. If I haven't seen you yet, let me know. I usually got them with me, and we'll just give them to you. So, all right. So I want to hit quickly on House Bill 1588. And from what I can see, looking at the actions on it, 1588 has passed, and it's probably going to the governor now. So is it bad? No, they stripped out the bad stuff, as it went through and worked its way through and got amended. And it got division, kind of like the 2137, the supplemental fee bill. They stripped some stuff out of there. Then it finally passed on a 49-43 vote out of the House. It got over to the Senate, went to committee. There was some things happening in there. They did pass it then finally after they amended it. And what they did in the Senate, they stripped out the crap so it didn't have to be divided again. Then it was returned to the House. It was concurred, and then now it has passed on an 87-4-3 vote. So just to kind of give you they stripped out the binary trigger thing, which that was stupid to begin with. That was one of the dumbest things I think I saw. And from what I understand, that was a Porter thing. They did take and change that the dangerous weapon, they're trying to define a dangerous weapon. And a knife blade of now, rather than 5 inches, now it's 6 inches. So if it's under 6 inches, if it's 5 inches,
hurt you, you're good.
11 inches and 7/8, actually probably 31/32. Let's really get technical. Anyway, you're good to go. It's not considered a dangerous weapon, but by golly, if it's got that extra 16th or 32nd, then you're screwed, and then you're susceptible to the law. This is why I hate arbitrary numbers and trying to define things, because it's just stupid. It's mostly based on emotions. Let's face it. Anytime you see a law like this, it's based on emotions. Oh, it's black. Oh, it's got a 30-round mag and not a 20-round mag. It's got a flash suppressor. Yeah, ooh, that makes it more dangerous. It's all about emotions. Stock's folding, and that's dangerous. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I get about this. And then I kind of page through this, and you get down to subsection. What was it here? I got it's so big. Section 2, and it's 61.1205, and in subsection, and that changed it to the governor, along with state, federal, municipal court judges, retired state and federal judges. Basically, they're all exempt. So, they can do what they want.
Oh, yeah.
Then you get down to Clay. Yeah, that's right. And then I do like this part where it says that the section here does not prevent any political subdivision or state board of higher education enacting an ordinance or policy less restrictive than that already that the state has. This preemption, they've really kind of defined that. That's a good thing in this. So I'm glad that was in there. And then this is one I don't get, and this always pisses me off in North Dakota about public gatherings. Guys, look south to South Dakota, okay, and do what they do. Be like South Dakota when it comes to gun laws and Second Amendment rights. Mm-hmm. You should be making less restrictions, not more. We're trying to redefine them. But here's what they did. Rather than just removing it, no. An individual who knowingly violates this section, and we're talking about the public gatherings, is guilty of a non-criminal offense punishable by a fee of $100. So really, it's not going on your record as a felony anymore if you violate it, at a certain public gathering, which is the most ludicrous thing I've heard. How about eliminate altogether, especially private gatherings, like you and I, and say we get together and we're holding an event. Why is that even a government concern? That's private. Leave it alone.
But, so how does that pertain? How would that pertain to like Mandan Sporting Goods and Brandon doing that in a lot?
I don't know. I mean, they got a lot of definitions here, and I think you're fine on that because it's on, especially being on private property, but not necessarily. I mean, when you read through 62.1.0403-.1, whatever that is. Anyway, it does start talking about, it's kind of like when we used to do our NRA events. And at first they told me I couldn't have people carrying in there, and I told them go get fucked. And that is the word I used because it pissed me off. I said, no, we rent these facilities. So therefore, during the duration of that rental period, it's a private event the public's invited to. And we set the rules in that particular four-walled room, not you. Because I actually got visited by the Attorney General's office under that son of a bitch Stenjum. And then I basically told him to go pound sand. I really did. And this is the stuff you don't see coming, in the background. These things that are happening with our supposedly such a conservative GOP majority. We do not really have that in the state.
I don't know if it's ever been considered conservative. But
I've never considered it conservative, but a lot of people do.
Before I forget, Clay, we were talking about them knives here. Dead Wolf says it's supposed to be dangerous. People still talking about knives. Yes, exactly.
Right. It's supposed to be.
Exactly right, Dead Wolf. It's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be.
I got one. I got two. One for each of you. Anyway,
I got two blades, one for each of you.
That's right. So it's a non-criminal offense now. So rather than just removing that, oh no, it's a non-criminal offense. Anyway. And then a fee of $100. So for a $100 extortion fee, it's non-criminal and you can do it. Anyway, that's what I look at it.
Yeah, then you're good.
Then you go to Section 3, and this has more to do with the changes in that Century Code for instructors. The guys that give you the instruction for your concealed carry permits. Applicant has successfully completed the testing procedure conducted by a certified test administrator. They now can assess up to a charge of $100. It was set at $50. Why not leave it alone and say, we're not going to, as the North Dakota State Legislature, regulate the free capitalistic market. And if you want to be a guy who administers the test for concealed carry, you charge what you want. And make it a truly competitive capitalistic market. Well, this guy might be charging $100, but guess what? Guess I'm going to go get certified, and I'm only going to charge you $50. Who's going to have a bigger class? And then you might say, well, piss on you. I want a really, really low ball and come on. I'm only going to charge $5. Mm-hmm. Why not do that? Why set this even a cap? It just stay out of it. It is not a function of government. That's the stuff that really torques me off. And then you got this is the big one. This has to do with cops seeming to think that they know. I might make Dan mad, but I really don't believe a cop has any right to know if I'm carrying it. It's none of your fucking business. None of you. If I'm carrying or not. Here, an individual carrying a concealed firearm or dangerous weapon for which a license is required shall have the individual, they change the name, person's a license issued in his state or another state or a digital image of this individual concealed firearm or dangerous weapon license issued by the state, blah, 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 blah. They clean that up. And then it says, and they must, if a law enforcement officer asks for it upon inspection upon a request, the failure to do so will then be prima facie evidence. Really? So because
I don't know what that means.
It's guilt without guilt. In my case, it's not, to me, it's no more than the red flag law. If I tell an officer to go get bent because it's none of their business, because he comes up to me and asks, do you have a concealed weapon and a concealed weapons license? And I say, none of your business. Now I'm guilty. You'll love this. The individual is illegally and guilty of illegally carrying a firearm or dangerous weapon concealed. So because I didn't want to tell them that I'm carrying as my Second Amendment right to do so, you right away are admitting that you are guilty. It's kind of like when you don't take the DUI breathalyzer, which they're not all that accurate, honestly. Blood test is the way they convict you. But if I refuse that, what do? Take your license away, right? They say you're guilty. No, I'm not. I didn't admit no guilt, but see, this is the problem with government. Anyway, so that's in there. I still don't like that, but it's in there. they did remove it so that if you are in a basic traffic stop and then they ask you, you don't have to do that anymore. They can't just come and do that on a basic. So, and then again, if you don't do it, an individual in that section is guilty of a non-criminal. Why not just eliminate non-criminal offense punishable by $20? Really? So I'm not guilty, but yet I am guilty and I got to pay $20, but it's not a criminal offense and don't go on your record. What's the point? So the bill to me, it isn't horrible. It's kind of pointless. If I was the governor, I would veto it because it's pointless and didn't accomplish anything because they stripped all the crap out of it anyway, which is a good thing. So just throw it in the garbage. And I know NRA's all, here's their article about it. They tout this as, they enhances your right to carry and for self-defense, removes the obligation of reporting to law enforcement upon contact, kind of, as I just went over, and reduces the penalty for carrying at a public gathering as an infraction to a non-criminal offense.
The additional part here is what I'm liking on it.
What's that?
Additionally, the bill authorizes the State Board of Higher Ed the ability to allow guns on school property and in buildings.
That's a good part of it. Yep.
But I mean, it's good and bad, Clay, because they're not going to.
No, and that's just it. It authorizes. It's just like South Dakota and North Dakota both have laws on the books that allow school districts or local school boards to allow people to be able to carry in a school, but most of them haven't. So yeah, I do like that part.
Yeah. Well, so Dan says, I don't think you should be required to tell the cops you have a firearm. Bad guys will lie. It doesn't matter if you're a good guy.
So see, we're in agreement on that.
I always say, like, what's the difference if they tell you? Because if they're going to use it on you, they're not going to tell you either way. They're going to pull it out and use it on you. It's just
right.
That doesn't.
We went through this in South Dakota, and I actually testified down there on that bill. And right away, I got asked by, I don't even remember who the senator was at that time. Well, you don't think you should inform a law enforcement officer if you're carrying? I said, no, I don't, because I said I wouldn't inform you. And by the way, I said, I'm a law-abiding citizen with absolutely nothing on my record, but a criminal, by the nature of being identified as a criminal, they don't care. They're not going to, hell, they probably don't even have a license as far as a driver's license, but they're just going to go ahead and pull the gun and kill you. So,
yeah,
I mean, it makes no point because it's just another infringement on law-abiding citizens. And let's face it, and back in them days, you had to have a concealed carry permit. And in South Dakota, that was pertinent information on their computers. Remember, they started putting the computers in the cars. They could pull up at first so they ran my plate. Clayton Peterson comes up. They already knew I had a concealed carry permit.
Right.
And then it was usually the first question when I got pulled over for a speeding infraction. Mr. Peterson, are you carrying? Didn't ask for my insurance. Didn't ask for my driver's license. Didn't ask for nothing. They were wondering if I had a weapon on my person. And at that time, I had to.
Hey, I'm here illegally. Who gives a shit? You got a gun on you or not?
And I mean, finally, we got that so that you didn't have to do that. But back at that point, you had to.
You look like an illegal Norwegian.
I must have. I'm just a shady looking guy. I mean, you would have thought that the first thing would have been the driver's license, registration, insurance, right?
So Dead Wolf says, so where are we on constitutional carry? Did we lose that? No, we still have permitless carry in North Dakota.
We still do in North Dakota. And that's what that one section I was reading, that's what that was about. And so like they can't make you do it during a traffic stop or some other infraction. But if they do ask you in certain instances, then yeah, you're supposed to tell them. If you don't, well, you're not in trouble really. You just get a ticket for $20. Kind of like a seatbelt fine. I mean, it's just so stupid. In fact, you probably get a seatbelt fine is probably worse because I imagine that counts towards points. Who
wanted to put the $20 thing in there? Come on.
Who knows? Yeah. So anyway, that's where 1588 is. If it was me personally, honestly, if Kelly passes, if he signs it or not, it's going to be a lot of difference, and he'll probably sign it. And don't beat him up over it because there is some good stuff in there. But I would personally veto it and say, try again in 2 years. Come on back. Let's get a real bill that actually does something. And what's Alex say? I'm interested. What part of shall not be infringed do they not understand? Any effort other than constitutional carry is evacuating and distraction. Yes, absolutely. I agree, Alex. Thank you.
That's why we need to get Alex elected somewhere.
I think so. I think so too. Yeah.
On top of just being a freaking great American and putting foot.
But
to
in
ass
the
for us.
state, I want them in the state somewhere. In a state position.
Well, we'll find out next Wednesday.
Yeah. So, Alex, we're looking forward to next week.
Absolutely. I definitely want to hear about the SR25. So, Clay, I tell you what, let's do that happy ending chronicle, and then you get.
Yep, go for it.
See what you're going to talk about on Todd.
Yep.
I'm so used to saying tomorrow now, but it's Friday. We got a day in between.
It's Friday. We're back on Wednesday.
Yep. So, happy ending chronicle here in Yorktown, Virginia. Deputies responded around 2 p.m.
Of the state home of NRA.
Is it?
Virginia.
Okay, that's where the big
Fairfax.
Big intimidating building is with the reflecting windows.
Oh, that horrible twin tower building that's just monument to destruction.
I mean, looks like freedom growing out of the ground to me.
It does.
So deputies responded about 2 p.m. to reports of a shooting near the intersection of Piccadilly Loop and Justice Lane, Clay. Justice Lane. I like that.
I actually know where that's at because Yorktown is not that far away from where we were at.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay. That's
and
good.
It sticks out when you say Piccadilly Lane. It kind of stands out.
Yeah, I mean, that's in Justice Lane. It's I mean,
it's actually not a bad area, but go ahead.
Upon arrival, deputies found a man with a gunshot wound to the abdomen and detained another man believed to be the shooter. The firearm used in the incident was recovered at the scene. According to investigators, the altercation began several miles away in the area of George Washington Memorial Highway and Denbigh Boulevard. 2 vehicles were involved in a road rage encounter that continued until both vehicles arrived at Grafton Station Apartments, a location believed to be the shooter's residence. Once there, a male passenger from the other vehicle exited, approached the shooter's vehicle, opened the driver's door, and began beating the living piss out of him, striking him in the head and the face. Suffering visible injuries, the driver then retrieved a handgun from his vehicle's center console and shot his attacker 1 time in the abdomen. The wounded man was transported to a hospital for emergency surgery to recover the freedom seed and is currently in serious condition. Multiple witnesses corroborated the sequence of events, and no charges have been filed at this time. The investigation remains ongoing. I didn't look into it, but fairly certain the guy's going to get... You open somebody's door and start thumping them.
Yeah. I did go look at it because, that's what I do. And, it's so far no charges, and it doesn't sound like there's going to be any coming. I was laughing because the way you're reading it, I know what it says. I know what you said. So if everyone don't know why I was laughing about a guy getting beat up, it just had to do with
Clayton knows I elaborate. Speaking of elaborate, I elaborate a little bit.
It was great. I love it. Bottom line is, it's a happy ending chronicle.
So 2 comments I'm going to get here. David Fettig says, I had a similar experience when I got my CCP. I didn't have a pistol yet. I spent an hour pulled over because I refused a vehicle search.
Yeah, I've been there, done
Alex says, hell yeah. And if you don't know Alex, maybe we'll let him talk a little. He's general badass with you guys. Like, I'm not kidding you when I say the guy's cool. You met the guy, super calm, well-spoken, doesn't lose his shit like I do when I start talking about politics. He remains calm. Awesome guy.
He's not a plant. He's not a plant. Everybody.
Right. Definitely not a plant from the CIA. If you haven't heard of Alex, tune in next Wednesday. You'll meet him, and if you have, I know you'll be tuning in again because he's a great guy.
Awesome. Thanks for not banning me. We wouldn't ban you.
No, we don't. We only banned one person. That was an insane leftist. So we should have probably just let him go because him or whatever it was because the commenters
that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right, Clayton. What do you got coming up Friday?
So again, Friday, not tomorrow, but Friday. Mitchell in the morning, 7:15 in the morning in the Mountain Time Zone, 8:15 in the Central. So I'm going to be some things we didn't get to tonight. I have a great happy ending chronicle as well. Involves an Easter egg hunt. I mean, it is the Easter season.
Oh, so, perfect! Yeah. Really? Okay.
Yeah. And it's actually out in Missouri. So that'll be probably the last.
We call the Missouri boat ride.
Then Montana. By the way, North Dakota legislature, look to the south or look to the west and see how they do it as far as the gun laws. Montana red flag prevention bill heading to the governor's desk.
Love it.
I'm going to talk a little bit about that.
G&T.
And then, turkey season's here, right? I know Eric was down there in the Slim Buttes doing a little turkey hunting. He drove all the way back from the Slim Buttes to come up here to prom because my son took his daughter to prom. So, and then went all the way back down to the Buttes. So that's dedication. Right?
Two good-looking kids right there, too.
I think they had a blast, too. They had a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So it was good. But anyway, a rare color phase in wild turkeys. Is it crossed with domestics, or is it just another variation or another gene within turkeys? And I know what they're talking about. I've actually seen some of these different colored turkeys, even around here. So I'm going to go over that a little bit. And, of course, I got my happy ending chronicle, and I don't know. We might touch on a couple other things. We'll see.
I'm just kind of curious. You might have to. I wonder how them gun sales are doing. You might have to give us an update on that. Friday.
Well, yeah, maybe I could do that.
Right, because Trump said they said the big gun slump was coming. Nobody was going to buy guns.
Yeah, not so much, right?
Thanks, Josh. He said, "Great show, fellas." 2A701. Hey, man, I don't wear your hat, but my hair got cut, so whenever I can go, he says he agrees. He's a 2A701. That's our man, Kelsey Glauser. Big fan of Alex Balaz.
And Kelsey, I gotta say, man, you still haven't told me, but thanks for setting me up with those access points. They worked really good.
Oh, that's right. He did do that, didn't he?
Yep, he did. I might even touch on. We'll see how we go on Friday, but NRA's board of directors had an election. They still got their annual meeting one to do. But they had a pretty good, I think, a good result. And I actually recognize a lot of the names on there. Jason Wilson coming out of Lucid, out of Riverton, Wyoming. Know Jason real well.
So I think you should do that, Clay, because I'm curious. I didn't read that. I know you sent me that link, but I am curious if the power structure changed there. So
it's on its so
hold on. Make them tune in Friday.
We'll make them tune in Friday. You want to tune in?
Are you and Clay Peterson? You're Sims for the NRA. Yeah, we are, because the NRA kicks ass, man.
They do, and don't make assumptions. I have issues with them too. Even though I work
right, I do too, Clay. But there's still
legitimate things that I think they're addressing now. And I thought Uncle Wayne needed to retire. How many times did I say he needed to freaking retire? And he should have. And he didn't.
Yep.
So, yeah.
One thing Letitia James that actually worked out, because she's going down now.
No, she's going down.
Turns out she's crooked as a frickin'.
No kidding. So,
yep, I know.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to probably wrap it up. I appreciate everybody. Unless you got something else you want to address.
Appreciate everybody tuning in. It was a fun show. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Got good retention here. Appreciate everybody's comments. And one more time, next Wednesday, Alex Balaz coming on with us, former ass kicker for the United States. So he might, he'd still do it if you asked him. I guarantee you would. But
I think Alex will be right there with us if things go bad.
Alex is he's talking about a primary challenge. He's going to talk about his SR-25 rifle and give us a little elk hunt. He went out to Montana and made some sausage and went out. It's going to be a good show, man. If you don't know Alex,
and I don't know, I haven't talked to Michael Bell, but I know we're coming up on that first Monday in May as well.
We're penciled in.
So unless he changes dates, sometimes he does, but I think we're set to go on the first Monday in May. So
we're in, baby.
All right, everybody, tune in again Friday, 7:15 in the morning Mountain Time, 8:15 in the Central Time Zone that they tried to make the whole state. Anyway, thanks for listening. Tune in on Friday. And what do I always say? Keep your powder dry, everybody. Catch you later. Thanks.